Welcome to class. I'm so happy you've joined me. In this class, we're going to be working through the superficial front line and the superficial back line. And basically what that means is just going back and forth between some back bends and forward folds. It's not about going really deep into either of these because we'll be going back and forth. It's really more just about feeling this range of motion through the body, opening up through the back, through the front to feel good. And it may be challenging, and that's fine. Remember, the more you do it, the easier it will become because you will get stronger. So just keep smiling, keep breathing, hit the pause button, maybe get some really good dance music going as well to put alongside this video. When you're ready, we'll begin standing at the back of the mat. At the back of the mat, stand with your feet about hip-width distance. Press down through the feet, lift up to the inner arches, and feel a slight activation travel up from this groundingness of your feet up the legs to feel a little bit of engagement of the muscles through the glutes, the abdominals, throughout your core. Bring the shoulders down, draw your chin back so that your ears are in line with the shoulders. So we begin this class with a nice, strong and neutral alignment through the spine, through the core. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Clasp your fingers and bring your hands to the back of your head. Bring the elbows towards each other, draw the shoulders down away from the ears, and slightly press the head back into the hands. So you get a little bit of engagement through the neck muscles. As you draw the chin down towards the chest, keep rounding through your upper back, through the spine, and begin to fold forward as if you're trying to get your elbows to touch all the way up at your hip bones. They probably won't get that high, but go in that direction. And whenever you get your elbows to touch your legs, wherever that might be, take an inhale here, breathe into the back of the body. As you exhale, slide the elbows down the legs and slowly release the hands from the back of your head onto the mat. Knees can be bent. Slowly start to shift a little bit of weight into your hands and walk the hands forward. Let this be an opportunity to kind of warm up into the wrists as well. Keep the glutes active. Keep pressing through the shoulders as you make your way into a plank position. Really press through the shoulders so your shoulder blades are spread wide across your back. Tuck the tailbone under so we find this tension through the body to hold ourselves up in this plank and find this sense of stability. And keep this stable position as you begin to squeeze your glutes and press your hips forward towards your wrists. Begin to draw the chin back and squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. So I don't want you to think of upward facing dog, but rather just opening up through the front of the body. Now close the space between the ribs and the hips to lift yourself up through that plank once more, and keep pressing the hips up and back, the chest back towards the thighs, the heels down towards downward facing dog. And just as we came, slowly walk your hands back all the way to the back of the mat. Walk them beyond the feet, turn the fingertips to face away from you. You can bend your knees here if you need to, maybe come onto the fingertips so that you've got a little bit of extra space. When you can't fold forward anymore, knees can be bent, remember. Start to lean your weight back towards your hands or your fingertips. Can you lift your toes up off the mat? Good. Rock back forward. Walk the hands back next to the feet and roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. Nice and slow, back up to standing, so that the head is the last thing that comes back up. We'll repeat all of that. Inhale, reach the arms up. Lengthen nice and tall. Clasp the hands and bring them behind the head. Bring the elbows together. Draw the shoulders down. Draw the chin into the chest. Press the head back into the hands there. Feel this engagement through the back body. Squeeze the glutes and keep rounding. Try and think about rounding your spine as much as possible, creating the space through the upper back. You should be feeling a nice stretch through the upper back, maybe into the neck and even in the mid back and low back. Bring the elbows towards the legs, wherever that may be. It may be your thighs, maybe your knees, maybe you're bending your knees. Wherever you are, that's fine. Just breathe into this space along the upper back, through the whole back and the back of the neck. On your next exhale, slowly start to slide the elbows down towards the ankles. Release your fingers. Place the hands down onto the mat, and again, slowly walk your hands forward. Let the weight shift into your hands, so your wrists are starting to get a bit more warmed up here as well as you give them a bit more weight to hold. Keep the fingers active, shoulders active as you make your way into plank. Squeeze the glutes, engage the core, and keep all of the stability through the core as you start to press your hips towards the wrists. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you so that you open up through the chest and draw your chin back. It's not about looking up, but rather about drawing the chin back. Inhale here. As you exhale, close to the front of the body, protract through the shoulders, so spread the shoulder blades wide across your back, through a plank, all the way back as you lower the heels down to the mat and lift the tailbone high towards the ceiling in your downward facing dog. Take a breath here. As you exhale, once more, we'll walk the hands back, just like we did before. Keep walking the hands either side of the feet, all the way to go behind you. Point the fingertips away from you. Maybe you're on your fingertips, maybe you're super flexible and you've got your hands down. Maybe you've got your knees bent. Wherever you are, can you just shift your weight back towards your hands to lift the toes up? Feeling stretch through the calves as well as the hamstrings. Walk the hands back forward. Plant the feet nice and flat. Bring the hands down underneath the shoulders. Start to bend into the knees. Lift the heels up. Sit your hips back on the heels. And slowly, can you lower your knees down to the mat in front of you? You can adjust your hands to bring them a little bit further back behind your feet. From here, squeeze the glutes. Try and think about pointing your tailbone down towards your knees as you lift the hips up and open up through the front body. Again, not really thinking of this so much as like trying to go into a deep back bend, but rather just feeling a nice opening through the front of the body, through the whole of the front of the body. So the legs and the hips, as well as the abdominals, the chest. Breathe here. Keep the glutes active. One more inhale. As you exhale, lower the hips back down. Lift the knees up. Press the heels flat onto the mat. Slowly lift the hips back up into your standing forward fold. And again, roll yourself up to stand. Good. One more time, reach the arms up. Same as before, clasp the fingers. Bring the hands to the back of the head. Press the head back into the hands. Draw the elbows together, the shoulders down. Bring the chin into the chest. Roll yourself all the way down. Again, just breathing through this space through the back of the body. Hopefully you're finding a little bit more space now as the fascia through the upper back starts to open up. When your elbows get to your legs, or just in that direction, take one more inhale through the back of the body. Exhale, slide the elbows down towards your feet. Unclasp your hands, walk the hands forward. Come into a nice strong plank. Find the stability and engagement through the glutes and core, and then move towards this kind of resembling an upward facing dog thing, but I want you to think of it more just as opening up through the front of the body, contracting through the back of the body, and lift up now through contracting through the front of the body, all the way back, heels down, butt up, downward facing dog. Walk the hands back, all the way back behind you, fingertips point away from you. Lift the toes up, find the stretch through the calves, start to bend the knees, lower the toes down, press the hips forward, lower the knees down, squeeze the glutes, push the hips forward and up, breathe into the front side of the body, lower the hips, back, down, go all the way back the way we came, back into that standing forward fold. Go straight back into our downward facing dog from here. Bring the right foot to the center of the mat. Lift the left leg up into a three-legged downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, lift the right heel up. Bring the shoulders over the wrists. Squeeze the glutes. Keep the left leg lifted as you press the hips towards the wrists. Maybe pull the left heel towards your butt as well. Close the front body to lift the hips back and up. Back into your 3-leg down dog. Extend the left leg straight. Walk the hands back towards the right foot. Keep the left leg raised high towards the ceiling. Standing split. Walk the hands back behind you. So just like we've done before, this time we just happen to have one foot up in the air and we're only standing on the other foot. Take an inhale here in your standing split. As you exhale, lower the left knee down to meet the right. Bend into the right leg. Slide the left leg all the way forward as you lower the hips down. Extend the left leg straight out in front of you. Lower the right knee down and lower the left toes down to the mat. Press into the toes so you're opening up, stretching the front of the left foot as you press the hips forward and up. Squeeze the glutes. Breathe here. Inhale, exhale. Lower the hips back down. Lift that left leg up. Pick the right knee up. Slide all the way back. Bend the left knee so you can slide it all the way back behind you. We're going all the way straight back up into that standing split, and we'll hold here and breathe. Think about just going up to about 80% of this standing split. Keep the left glute really active. That's the main player in this posture, is that left glute to help keep getting that left leg higher and higher. Good. Slowly walk the hands back forward. One more time, just as we did before. Through your plank pose, keep the left leg lifted as you lower the hips towards the wrists, open up through the front body, squeeze the shoulders together behind you, pull the left butt towards the left heel towards your butt, and then lift everything back up, lower the left foot down into your downward facing dog. I know you're probably feeling it through the glutes, the hamstrings, maybe the shoulders as well. If you need to take a break, remember that's always available to you, but no matter what, keep your breathing slow and steady through the nose. When you're ready, we'll lift the right leg up. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lift the left heel, rock the shoulders forward, come through your plank pose, adjust if you need to. Squeeze the glutes, open up through the chest. Pull the shoulder blades together behind you. Pull the right heel towards your butt. Inhale here. Exhale, close through the abdominal muscles. Contract to lift the hips up and back. Extend the right leg straight. 3-legged downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to the back of the mat. You've been here before, you know where we're going. Standing split. Use that right glute to lift the right leg high. Walk the hands all the way back behind you. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend the right knee and bring it to touch the left knee. Start to bend the left knee now. Bring the right foot forward as you lower the hips down towards the left heel. Extend the right leg straight out in front of you. Point the toes. So you come onto the front, the top of the right foot. Lower the left knee down and then squeeze the glutes to push the hips forward and up. You should feel a nice opening through the front of the left thigh and also through the front of the right foot and ankle. So we're working through this whole superficial front line in these back bending postures. We'll lower the hips back down onto the left heel. Pick that right foot up as you keep pushing the hips back. Bend the right knee. Slide it all the way back behind you, straight up into that standing split. The lower you can bring your chest, the easier it is to raise that right leg up behind you. Trust in the strength of your left foot, holding your weight, and use the activation of the right glute just at about 80%, because we're going to hold this for a few more breaths. Ooh. You know, when things are challenging, sometimes it's easy to want to stop, but maybe we can learn to love the challenges, knowing that that's where we grow, that's where we get stronger. Slowly walk the hands back towards the front of the mat, through downward dog, straight into the plank. Lower the hips down towards the wrists. Pull the right heel towards the butt. Open the front body. Take an inhale. Exhale, lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Wonderful work. Lower the knees down. Bring the tops of the feet to the mat. Take an inhale. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the tailbone, lift the crown of the head in a cow pose. As you exhale, round the spine, lift the chest away from the mat. Draw the chin into the chest. Stay here in this cat pose. Start to press your hips back slightly and lower, keep lowering the top of your head towards the mat. Keep the chin in. When the top of your head gets to the mat, you can stay here, or if it's comfortable, you can press the hips a little bit up, away from the heels. Just feeling a little bit of a stretch through the back of the neck. I also quite like to just kind of, with not too much weight on my head. So most of the weight should still be in your knees and your hands supporting you as well. But just give like the fascia on my scalp a little bit of a massage here, just rocking forward and backwards. So the superficial back line actually goes all the way up the back of the head, around the skull, and finishes in the eye socket. So we can kind of just give ourselves a little bit of a myofascial release with this like head massage, rolling the head on the mat. Nice way to take a little break as well. Now, if you're comfortable here with the top of your head on the mat, the arms outstretched in front of you, feel free to stay here. But if it feels like you could maybe go a little bit further, you can tuck the toes behind you, begin to press into the toes and press into the hands, so shoulders nice and active, and maybe lift the knees up. Just play around with how that feels. If it feels like you can go a little bit further and a little bit further, maybe begin to straighten the knees just as far as it feels good for you. Lower the knees back down, press into the hands, release the head, look forward, and lower the chest down in a puppy pose. Breathe here. Keep pressing the hands firmly down into the mat. Through activating the muscles that we stretch, we send a signal to the brain that the muscles actually have a purpose in this range of motion, and the brain will begin to feel more comfortable, more safe in this elongated form for these muscles. It begins to respond, and that is how we begin to feel more flexible, by staying active as we stretch. Good. We'll come all the way back up through that tabletop position. Push the hips back, come into a kneeling position, lift the hips up off the heels, bring your hands to your lower back, squeeze the glutes, maybe tilt the pelvis back slightly, lift up through the chest, take an inhale. As you exhale, keep the glutes super active, keep squeezing the thighs together as you go back into a little camel pose. And then engage your abdominal muscles to come back through to your kneeling position. We'll sit the hips back onto the heels, lift the knees up, come all the way up to stand. And this is where you might want to crank up that dance music, okay? We're just gonna get a little bit of a bounce going on now, okay? So maybe just start with the feet staying on the mat. Just get a little bit of energy flowing. If it feels comfortable, you could actually start to jump up and down, just a little bit. However you're going, I want you to slowly make your way, maybe a little dance party, up to the front of the mat. All right, so we're jumping, maybe just very little jumps, maybe big jumps, wherever you are. Keep breathing through the nose as much as possible. And when you're ready, we're gonna do some burpees. Okay, so what that looks like is we jump, then lower the hands down to the mat, shoot the feet back, chaturanga, all the way down to the floor. Press up, jump the feet forward to the front of the mat, and up. All right, ready? 5 of those. So jump, lower the hands down, feet back, all the way down to the mat, press up, jump the feet forward, jump arms high to the sky. All the way down through chaturanga, down to the mat, press up through plank, jump the feet forward, jump high, and lower down. Keep breathing. Just 3 more. I could make you do 10, but I'm only putting 5 in. Next, and quick. Maybe you're even quicker than me, and you do 6, or you do 7, or you do 10. Just do as much as you can. I think that's 5. Okay. When you get there, reach the arms up. Stretch through the front body. Squeeze the glutes. Push the hips forward. Lower everything down. Inhale, come up halfway. Keep breathing through your nose. Exhale, one more big jump back. Lower the knees. Press the hips back. Sit back on the heels. With your hands either side of your hips, maybe a little bit further back. Lean back into your hands. Squeeze the glutes. Start to push the hips forward. Just opening up through the front of the body. Feels nice after all that jumping. And just hold this. Keep the glutes active. And think about drawing the thighs together. All of these muscles are connected, and they're all big players in keeping the pelvis stable whenever we go to open up through the front of the body. Good, you can lower the hips back down. Walk the hands forward. Allow the chest to sink down over the thighs. Allow the forehead to rest on the mat. Come into a child's pose and just breathe here. Find stillness and calmness in your breath. See how quickly you can recover your breathing by just breathing through your nose. And whenever you're ready, you can make your way up. Bring the legs out in front. Maybe take a few twists lying on your back just to finish off this class. Making any movements that you feel you need in your body. If there's any other posture that you wish to take, maybe a happy baby or a shoulder stand or some more twists, some longer holds. Whatever feels good, whatever you feel you need so that you can come to a place of stillness and carry on with your day with a sense of balance. Balance between ease and effort, balance between your left and your right, your front and your back. That's always what we're looking for with our yoga practice, is this balance and this connection. Take as long as you need here in your final resting pose. Thank yourself for doing an amazing job through this challenging but hopefully fun class. Make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos from me. And I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you so much. Namaste.